Was poppin', was poppin', was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to episode 115. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about AI going viral, talking about some baseball business vibes, talking about getting inside the room. Is it worth it? Listening to your audience and what exactly is relevant. Moose, how are we feeling about this episode?
Hey, two of my favorite things, baseball and business. It's going to be good.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's get into this intro.
Two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
And of course, this episode is powered by ECAMM Live, the #1 all-in-one streaming platform that allows you to stream on not only Facebook, YouTube, now Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, but it also allows you to do video isolations, audio isolations, transitions, text, all in one. It's so dope. Get a 14-day free trial on us. Go to www. God. All right, I messed it up again. www.nickyandmoose.com/ECAMM. That's ECAMM for your 14-day free trial.
Yeah.
I was doing so good at those. Oh, well. Moose, how are we feeling?
That's the first one in a minute, though.
I know.
Yeah, it's the first one in a minute. You've been killing it.
That's all right. It's all right. It's too many W's in my life. All right. Okay. How are you?
Yeah. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm a little disappointed. I was planning a solo snowboarding trip for tomorrow, and I was excited. I was like, I would never do something like that by myself, and so I was excited. I was like, man, it's gonna be dope. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna create some content while I'm at it. Like I was actually in this whole creative vibe. I went, I bought my ticket, and then I checked the status. And they said the mountain was closed. And
Why?
So, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, come on, y'all. It's December. Freaking whatever it is. Like, come on. We should have snow. Like, it should be winter time.
It should be, but it hasn't been.
Yeah. I guess it hasn't been cold enough. And so they haven't put out enough snow on the mountains where they feel it's safe enough for people to, start going down. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so, that just happened literally maybe an hour before we started recording. So it's like fresh in my mind. But other than that, things are great. Honestly, I'm doing really well. All is good.
I have a good question.
Yeah.
So you don't, we go through this every year. And all these holidays, I always have to. You don't celebrate Christmas, right?
No, I don't. I don't celebrate Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah,
but what do you do on, because it's such a happy season. So I know you feel the happiness and you enjoy the happiness.
Yeah. Growing up in New York, there is no better place to spend Christmas than New York.
Facts.
Listen, it's my opinion. I might be biased, but I think Christmas in New York is so dope.
Facts.
But I participate in the energy. I try and pass some gifts around and do my best. But yeah, it's not just the religious meaning of Christmas is not the part that I take part of. Yeah. I don't take part of that. But
the energy
it's
wise,
cool, man.
the energy wise.
Yeah, no, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah. I'm not a Grinch, man. I like the good vibes. I like the good vibes.
Isaiah's gonna have so much fun by you saying Grinch. Shout out to Isaiah.
I'm sure he's gonna put. Yeah. Imagine.
Oh man, Isaiah, don't do him that dirty. I know you will, though. I know.
Hey man, go for it, bro. It's all fun. I'm cool with it.
Oh Lord. For me, I'm excited because the whole team is coming to Virginia. For those people who are still confused where I live, yes, I live in Virginia. So the whole team is coming because I speak uh, one of these days. I can't even remember what day, but one of these days I speak, and I totally forgot that I spoke because I was so excited that the team was coming. Connie's coming. Shout out to Connie. Everybody's coming, and so I'm so excited because no one comes to Virginia ever, like no one. So now, and here's, of course, this is where Nicky reports her chubby life. So now I have all these like food spots that we're all going to. All of a sudden, I know all these places that we're gonna go, and then we're gonna go to Top Golf. We're gonna go to Dave and Buster's. I have a Deeper Than the Brand meetup on that Sunday.
Fire.
First, yeah, in Dave and Buster's. So it's like, okay, I'm excited. Mind you, I've
That's fire.
never been excited about being here.
Yeah, that's fire. How far is where you live from, say, the DC area? Because I know
Like
like
3 hours.
the state. Oh, okay, so it is a bit. Okay.
Yeah, it's 3 hours. But I plan on going because they have a new Nipsey display in the Smithsonian. That's how you say it. So they actually put that last video, that blue outfit that
Yeah.
he played in college video. They actually
Mhm.
have that and all his chains um in a display case in the Smithsonian, which
Wow,
is wild. So
that's dope.
yeah. So yes, Q1, I will be making a trip to DC to see that. It's only right. I have to.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. 'Cause I go to I go to Virginia a lot, but I guess not your part of
Yeah,
Virginia
no,
because
it's 3 hours.
it's closer to DC. So all right,
Yeah, that's the
fair enough.
DMV area, the upper V, upper Virginia. That's where down
Mhm.
here is where the beach is. Yeah, this is where the beach is.
Got you.
We out here.
Got
Yeah,
you.
I mean. But let's get into this episode. Of course, we are going to go to the What's Poppin' section, and the What's Poppin' section, of course, is sponsored by Deeper Than the Brand. Deeper Than the Brand is the #1 content branding community that shows you how to confidently and authentically build a brand, grow social media presence, and build digital wealth. Go to deeperthanthebrand.com for more information. So let's get into what's popping. So if y'all haven't seen, AI art has been going viral. I don't know any platform that you go on right now, you're not seeing these AI avatars of like everybody. Like they're in space, they're fairy tales, they're anime, there's everything, right? So the app that's doing that is called Lensa AI, right? And they pretty much take about 10 to 20 of your photos, charge between like $3.99 to $7.99 on top of a free 3-day trial. And if you forget about the trial, it's $49 a year, right? We tend to skip those, of course. They're like, yeah, free, boom, right? Now, so it'll take those 10 and it'll produce 50 to 100 AI avatars. Really fire. Now, here's where it's crazy because they're playing a middleman. So this actual technology is free. But not many people know that. And so because we pay for convenience, here is this app that's saying, hey, without you finding it all over the place and trying to download it and figuring it out on your own, we could do it for a small little price, right? We're actually a photo and video editing app, but we added this. Come over here. And of course, once people started seeing these different AI avatars, then everybody started to jump on. Like, yeah, I want that too. I want that too, right? So one, that's smart. That's the middleman game. People will pay for convenience. However, of course, there has been some backlash about it because how they generate these images is they gather all these different types of images on the web, right? Everything from Pinterest to the Getty database to everywhere. If your image is on the internet, they're grabbing it. And so then they formulate and they make these different images based off other people's art or content, right? Whether it is not trademark, copyright, watermark, that doesn't matter. It's free game. So a lot of people are saying, yo, they're not crediting the artist, you're stealing people's art, that whole nine. When it starts to become a trend, my opinion is that not many people care about that, right? Not many people care. They're just going to get with the trend. I didn't know about it prior to I did it. I thought it was fire. And then I saw the backlash and I was like, understood. Ugh, yikes. But this is very interesting because, for one, I love that AI art is getting more recognized, because this is something that we have to pay attention in the content creation game. This is where we added a few photos and it made hundreds of photos where we didn't even have to try. This is just something we already had and they made into new things. They have other places, other AI things. One I think is called DALLE, like Dolly, right? That's one where you can actually type in anything, like a lion in New York, and they're going to come up with images of lions in New York. It's really dope. You type in anything. So I'm only bringing this up because we want to pay attention to these different types of tools, because this is what's coming in the future as far as content creation. Now, this app has made a whole guap of money. Like Moose informed me, they made how much? $8.2 million in like 5 days or something. Way more than they've ever made in a year, which is crazy. But at the same time, they're smart, because even me forgot to cancel the subscription, and I paid $49 on top of the $3.99 or the $5.99 I already paid twice because I didn't like the first batch. So they got a lot of money. I ain't mad at it. Shout out to the people who figured out to be the middleman and charge people small amounts of money in order to make a lot of money. I ain't mad at it. But for those people, be careful, because it is kind of a bit of controversy of, is it taking other people's art or not? So if you are considerate of people's art and body of work, stay away. But if you want to look at it, go ahead. It's pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. The images are pretty dope. I don't know. This is me.
Yeah. It was dope. I indulged on it low key, but just didn't post it. I was like, yeah, let me just try it.
Come on, Moose.
Just try it.
We wanted to see the pictures.
Yeah, but I didn't. And then I saw a meme going around that said, I'm so happy that none of my friends' circle turned themselves into cartoons this week. And I was like, dang, I definitely can't post it now because, I stayed away, but I guess I kind of did. So.
Isaiah, get it from Moose. Text Moose.
Yeah, it was dope. It was good to see. But man, I guess switching gears into the business side, really, really, really exciting news, especially for me. Y'all see, I guess Nicky too. No, because you're well, anyway, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, well, as you know, as a loyal New York Yankee fan, one who was heartbroken when we lost in the playoffs, but really excited about the next year. I guess that's the point of being optimistic. But the Yankees had a major week in re-signing Aaron Judge. For those of you not familiar with baseball or just Aaron Judge is one of the Yankees' star players. He grew up pretty much in the Yankees organization and system. And the way it works in baseball is when a team drafts you or initially, they own your contract for 10 years. So you're pretty much playing for them for 10 years, making whatever league minimum in addition to your signing bonus and whatever other bonuses you might make based on performance until you reach that 10-year mark, or if you get traded previous to. And so he played all 10 years within the Yankees organization. And so he's been doing really, really well. And going into the beginning of this year, the Yankees offered him a new contract that was worth $213 million. And so there was a little controversy going back and forth, and he rejected that contract. He said, nope, I don't think it's enough money. It's not what I want. I'm not going to take it. And so there was a little controversy that went on there because he didn't want that news to be public. He wanted that news to be private. If you think back to the conversation with Derrick Jeter on Drink Champs, we featured that convo where they talked about, they used that tactic as a negotiation, or they did the same thing with making the information public almost as a negotiation tactic. So he wasn't too happy about that. But anyway, he went out, did a phenomenal job controlling his emotions, had a monster year. He broke the American League home run record and put up 62 home runs. Fast forward now to the end of the year, or this week, he signs a contract for 9 years, $360 million.
That's crazy.
A lot of money. Now, here's some things to take away from that. During this process, of course, you have to create a bidding war, right? Because if there's only one team that wants you and you're committed to working with that team, well, there's no real interest for them to say, well, let's give you the best possible offer we can give you. So what he did was, and there isn't any real, say, facts to back this up, but it's pretty obvious from the moves of what happened. He went out and took meeting with a rival team in San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants, and he even was recorded in the airport in San Francisco and allowed a video to go viral on social media saying, hey, yeah, I'm just here visiting friends. He didn't want to make it like too obvious as if he was here to meet with the team. But what he was doing was he was creating a bidding war because it showed the Yankees that there's another team that is just as serious as the Yankees in, taking Aaron Judge. And so created a bidding war back and forth, back and forth. Next thing you know, he gets that $360 million. So 2 takeaways for business. Create a little curiosity, right? You want to create some bidding wars there. And you can think about that for many different ways. You can go to other suppliers or vendors or people that you work with and look for a competitive price just so you can come back and say, hey, this is what I'm getting in the marketplace. Can you match that? And number 2, and most importantly, bet on yourself, man. By him waiting that extra year and continuing to work and stay focused and not let his emotions get the best of him, although he was, say, disappointed because they made that information public, he came out with an extra $150 million. It's got to be one of the greatest payouts in sports history. So, yeah, bet on yourself, man. And congratulations to Aaron Judge, man. If you, want to come on the podcast, as always, we would love to have you.
We would love to have you. That's a lot of money. So turn down. I ain't gonna lie. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But
you're not gonna do you usually ask for how much? Is it $1 that you typically ask for? Or
5. You always ask
5? Okay, 5.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Let me just get 5. Let me just get 5. That's all I need.
Let me hold the 5 piece. All right.
It's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt. But let's get into the things you could live without. One of my favorite sections because it's just pointless things that we heard this week that we could have lived without, pretty much. So, this first one makes me chuckle, just because I love the quote unquote gurus, right? And so some of y'all may know this man, some of y'all may not. The relationship guru, Derrick Jaxn, or Jax, whatever his name is, that dude that cheated on his wife. Okay. Made a whole big stink on social media, was hilarious. Is going through a divorce. Okay. And announced it on social media. Man who says, do this and do that is now getting a divorce. Could you have lived without that? Or does that make you chuckle? One of the two, right? Second thing, right? R. Kelly making another album calling I Admit, and then they take it down. Okay, so if you try to find it, it's gone. We'll probably go on Baller Alert or Hollywood Unlocking. You could probably hear a snippet of it because once the internet gets it, it's a wrap. So, R. Kelly making another album. Okay, and last but not least, hearing anything more about these crypto legal issues. Now the ape people, the Bored Ape Yacht Club is suing celebrities like Justin Bieber, Paris Hilton, Snoop Dogg for the way they use their ape. Yeah, so that's what could you live without? Relationship guru guy getting a divorce, R. Kelly, period. And any more crypto news of lawsuits and suing and all that great stuff, let us know. Leave it in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave it in the chat or the comments. That whole nine. Let us know, okay? Wait, Moose, what would you have picked?
Man, that anything R. Kelly is just, come on, man. Come on, at this point.
Oh my God. Did you hear it? Did you hear the snippet? Oh,
I did not.
Good.
I did not.
Good.
But just by the title, I'm glad I did it.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't know, like, you know how technology is. So we don't know if this is really like him. Like, I think he came out, like, I don't know, he made a phone call or something. It's like, that's not him. I'm dealing with legal issues. That's not me. That wasn't I didn't put out but listening to that snippet, I didn't hear the album. I wouldn't do that. I haven't listened to R. Kelly for a while, which is that's my debate of like the personal and the art. Cause Lord, R. Kelly made some amazing songs. But I haven't heard the album. But I would probably, man, I would say it, R. Kelly too. It was a crazy art cover and everything. It was just wild. I was like, why would you come out with this? And it was like pretty much saying like, it's your opinion. It's like, it pretty much literally admitted, and then it said, I'm only guilty based off your opinion. I said, oh, wow. Okay. You know what? Here we are, people. Here we are. But, yep, let us know. Let us know, people. Just, y'all, majority of y'all are going to say R. Kelly, though. We already know. But let's get into this blueprint. So, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but Will Smith is back, right? And he came out with a new movie. Moose, what's his new movie called?
Emancipation.
Yes, Emancipation, and it's only on Apple TV Plus, I think. Apple TV Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you haven't noticed, he's been doing podcast runs. He's been on the shows. He's busy. He's out here trying to promote a whole movie. Now, how he is listening to his audience is very, very interesting because, like we said, it's on Apple and that's a membership. That's not, that's not on the theaters like normally his movies would be. So this is what he said for those people who don't have it yet.
All right, I've been reading a lot of the comments, and I see a lot of people saying they don't have Apple TV Plus. That's unacceptable to me. So I went to Apple and I was like,
yo, my people, we got the film. My people need to have Apple TV Plus.
So I got 2 months free of Apple TV Plus for everybody to watch Emancipation.
Go ahead, Moose.
Man. Yeah. Shout out to Will, man. He has a way of maybe it's a flight attendant thing. I don't know, but they definitely have their ways of being able to creep back into your heart. Like, oh, I guess it's Will Smith. Like, how could you hate Will Smith? Man, just hilarious. So I guess shout out to Will, man. But really, really cool idea. I think this to me was just genius because sometimes you might need to do something for contractual reasons, business reasons. Heck, it might even be your own idea or your preference to want to create a product journey or a product experience that is a certain way. But with the way that you do it, unfortunately, it creates a barrier for your audience to get access to it. Now, they might be a loyal fan base. They might really rock with you and want to enjoy your art, your service, your product. But if there's a barrier between them and what you're doing, that can create some issues. So I just love the idea of being able to say, hold on a second. First off, let me listen and read. It's not, I just do it, I put it out and I go away, but let me pay attention to what the people are saying. And if there's a consistent challenge that people are voicing, it's an opinion that seems obvious, then maybe I can work something out. Maybe he lost some money in the process, who knows? Because, he's giving it away for free, which it shows that it's really about the art. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I definitely plan to. I heard it's a very, very powerful story. But overall, just a lesson to take away, really think about some ways that you can create easier access to your audience or for your audience when it comes to your brand, your product, your service, your business, and what you have out there, just so that people can interact with it and you are helping them remove the barriers from the way.
I agree with you. I think it was smart to give it away. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if it was for the audience. This is a membership thing. So they know, hey, I'm going to give it to you for two months. You're probably going to forget. You know what I mean? And Apple's going to make money from it. And I probably have in my contract, based off the people who sign up to Apple TV Plus, that I get some of that as well. Because once again, Will Smith is a box office star, right? And he will go to, now granted, ever since the pandemic, there has been a shift to the streaming platforms. And so he's taking this route of Apple, which Apple really hasn't made a big move or a splash, in the streaming against Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and that whole nine. But I guess this is their first try. People have all eyes on Will Smith. I don't think anybody doubts his acting, so I don't believe this movie will be bad. I believe it will be a typical Will Smith performance, not in a bad way, but I think we know that excellence. But yeah, all eyes are on Will Smith. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if people are interested in the movie as much ever since that situation. I think they care more about his response and him still talking about the Chris Rock thing rather than the movie, but that's my personal opinion. Even though I love Will Smith, I don't hold nothing against him. I think people get in their emotions. Now it's just very public, right? So, but yes, he quote unquote listened to the audience, but I don't know if that's really, because if you sign up for Apple TV Plus, I think it's already free for like a certain amount. Apple always gives it away for free. So I think it was just more of, let me get on my platform, say, hey, use this. It could be tracked. that I brought in this many people to this platform, because that also is value, and I can show my worth as far as, see, these are thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands that signed up to Apple. Where's my money off of that? I think that's a really good play. But that's also when it comes to our own brands, that's something that we have to start thinking about when we have a bit of influence and we are getting on these different platforms. How can we prove through stats that we are the reason why this was bought, there was views, there was increases of subscribers, because that is worth a lot to these companies and to these platforms and to the people who you're collaborating with. There's always ways, whether it is leverage, whether it is extra dollars, whatever it is, he's pretty much showing us, okay, I'm proving my influence, you're going to have to pay me. That's how I look at it.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I didn't think about it that way. That's why I didn't say that. But no, that's a great point. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I was listening to the Irv Gotti interview with EYL.
Yep.
Great interview. And he was talking about that exact point about how companies like Netflix and major streaming services track those numbers. And they say that it's typically after a subscriber enrolls or starts an account, based on what he or she watched first, they, I guess, work their percentages that way. So if, for example, I sign up to Apple TV Plus and the first thing I watch is Emancipation, then Will Smith would technically benefit off of that financially because he did bring that traffic. And it makes sense. I mean, I know he has, how many followers he got on Instagram? He's got to have
I'm not saying it no more. I said the wrong thing for J-Lo. I felt ashamed. I was not sure at all. I was like, yeah, over 3 million, 30 million. Golly. I'm sorry, J-Lo.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Here's another disgusting account, though, or a disgusting number: 62.6 million followers.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's crazy. Even if you were to take 1% of that, let's say just only 1% of those people take them up on that offer. I mean, golly, that's a ridiculous amount of. Yeah, Nix, you smart, Nix. Yeah, you smart. Smart. I just didn't think of it like that. I'm just like, yo, that's dope. Creating, removing barriers from your
engagement
people,
with the
like,
audience, talking to the audience, giving them. Yeah, no.
Stay woke, people.
It's a business. Everything is a business. Everything is a business.
Yeah.
I'm learning that.
Nah,
we may seem that, oh, he cares about us. No, there's probably in the contract of it. So shout out to Will Smith. That's you're teaching us. For those people who are paying attention, you're teaching us. For those who are not saying Moose isn't paying attention, you're for the people. Either or.
Right.
Either or.
Right.
Maybe you're both.
I mean, it comes off as a great move either way.
Oh, listen, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Now, the next part of this blueprint is the infamous get in the room. Okay? We've heard it. It's almost a cliche now. You want to get in the room. You want to get in the room. We've had multiple conversations about it. But there was an interview. What's his name? Brandon Lee? That's his name?
Bradley.
Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. I'm thinking Bruce Lee's son. Great.
Classic.
So Bradley, the owner and founder of Lightspeed and a whole bunch of other amazing things. And he's great at as well as content, what he puts out. But he was on an interview and talking about, pay me $25,000, just chill with me. And there's benefits to that. So let's hear his thought process of getting in the room.
People always ask me, Brad, how do I get in these rooms? How do I get around all these players and whatnot? And And I said, well, look, there's a couple of ways. Number one, you become one. Become a player, become influential. And that's how you hang around.
That's the hard one.
And then the second one is pay them.
Yep. That's the easy way.
It's like people don't realize that if someone said, Brad, I want to come shadow you for a day, $25,000, shadow me for the day. What does that mean? Just hang out with me. Follow me around, listen to my meetings, ask questions. We'll go to lunch. We'll end it with a cigar and dinner, and you get the whole day to ask and do whatever you want. And people are like, well, what am I going to get from that? Who are you going to meet while you're there? What kind of deals could you put together? What kind of relationships could you forge that will produce far more money?
Yeah.
But most people aren't thinking like that. They're thinking, well, what am I going to get for my 25 grand?
Now, I can understand this, and I can semi-agree with this, right? There is an importance of just being around people. And if you look at the two ways that he broke it down, of course, if you become the influencer, if you become somebody that people are talking about and want to be around, like, then other high influencers are going to want to be around you, right? They're seeing that you're moving and shaking. Yo, you belong with us because we're doing the same things. Come on, right? But like you heard, that's also not as easy, right? Paying somebody to get in the room, and this is why we're seeing all these masterminds. I know, shout out to Neo. I got to get Neo on here because he's just a great guy. But Neo just did a mastermind in Dubai, right? And Terica was there, Rochelle was there,
Wow.
and you know, but I know Neo's masterminds is over like 10K, right? So we're hearing these high price masterminds, and some people are like, I can't even understand that. What are you talking about, right? But it's not necessarily the tangible things that you would be getting. It is mainly the relationships and the exposure of different conversations, different perspectives that you would get in an instant rather than doing it yourself, rather than doing it through a course, even through and y'all know I love community, even through a community. If you go and pay to be in the room for a couple of hours, a whole day, whatnot, if you are coming in there with an open mind, I think that is the power in paying for those things, right? Now, if you come like 20, okay, I paid 25K. Now, I'm not saying everybody got 25K. You feel me? Like that is steep. I'm not sitting here. Shout out to my mom. She's like, 25K to pay somebody. I already know, right? But that almost goes to the next clip that I want to talk about as well, because you may not see the benefit, or you may not find it purposeful to spend that much. Somebody else does. Somebody sees the value of, okay, I could spend 25, 10K, 15K, 30K, whatever, to just spend time with so and so, right? And you're going to see a lot more of people. We may know somebody very close to us who may be doing something similar in the near future, right? Because people want to get in the room with certain people. I don't find that, I don't see nothing wrong with it. The only time I see anything wrong with it is when you don't have value to give. You're just doing this for a money grab, right? Which we have seen as well. But if you're doing it legit to add value, give them something for that they're not normally exposed to, I say, why not?
Yeah. I mean, In a lot of ways, I think the price point is something that is in place to save people time.
Yeah.
Right. When you think about somebody who can afford that price point, ultimately, they have very limited time, and the caliber of people that they need to interact with are not easy to find.
Mm-hmm.
And so when these types of masterminds or groups are created, they bring the perfect duo. It's the price weeds out the people who typically don't belong, unfortunately, or at least not yet, right?
Good.
And then it brings the people that you need to meet, and they put them under one roof. Now you don't have to go through, just think about it. Typically when you want to build with someone or maybe get an introduction, that can take some time. And so I think that naturally brings people's guards down. They put them in one room, and it allows for opportunities to grow and develop as a person, and then also give you opportunities in being able to do more together. So I think for our industry, as we would call it, say service-based or info space or whatever, brands in general, it's really smart if you think about it, because these, what I would consider social clubs, they exist in other areas. Like, for example, one that I looked up is here in New York, but Soho House. Soho House is an elite membership that is application-based. Not anyone gets in, right? And it's known that I think a good friend of mine had worked at Soho House for some time and said that MJ was one of his regulars. And so imagine that you go through that process. Obviously, there's a fee associated with it, but you get all of these benefits, which is the same thing that a mastermind would provide. And then you're able to rub shoulders with people like MJ. I think that definitely can provide a unique set of benefits. So yeah, I'm with you on that part for sure.
Yeah, and it kind of, I don't, like I said, I don't agree with everybody's price to it, but once again, I'm not their audience, and I don't find the same value as maybe another person may find that value. But I totally respect the mastermind model. I totally, if even for me, for next year, if I find something super interesting, I may invest in one. Right now, I haven't necessarily found anything. It's crazy. I was on a recent podcast, and somebody was like, "Yo, do you know any?" I was like, "Nah, not that is it. Yeah, I'm looking for one too, right?" So, which then shows a gap, and then my mind goes like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo. Hold on, we may have to do something, right?" But I'm for it. I respect it. I love the experiences that some of them do, right? Because some is straight up here, hotel, event space, round table, snacks, water, let's talk. You're in the room with me. And others is like mansion, red carpet, the what is that? That background thing. What's the background thing with the logos and everything? What's that thing called? Step and repeat. Step and repeat. There we go.
Okay.
See, I answered my own question. Don't worry, I got you. Right? That they have, it's a whole production, right? Once again, that's that whole experience thing. But, I say if you can find a way to get in the room and pay for it, I say go ahead and do that. I support it. It makes life so much quicker. And especially in this era of there's a lot of information, but we don't have a lot of time. This is one of those things where you can create the relationships, get the information, get the different perspectives that you want. I support it. Now, I actually want to see. I may do. I'm looking at the time, so I may do a audible. We may go into this or that real quick, and a flip on the this or that. So watch what I do, people. Watch what I do. So On This and That, this segment is sponsored by the Flight Assessment, okay? Discover your personal superpower and learn how to use your superpower to become a master communicator, strengthen all your relationships, and develop the self-awareness that you need to fulfill your highest potential. I said that probably wrong, but go to flightassessment.com. It's a vibe, okay? Since we're talking about masterminds and high prices and getting in the room and that whole nine, do we be considerate of people's pockets when coming up with prices? This is my this or that. You know your audience. Do you go with the high ticket item, right? You know what your stuff is worth. Go with the high ticket item, or you understand your audience. You meet them where they are, right? So I found a clip in my little low key but high key sneakerhead vibes, right? Of the owner of Urban Necessities that's out in Vegas, which has an amazing, amazing sneaker store, right? Was talking about why he sells some of the sneakers for the prices that he does, right? And we're talking about six figures, right? Some of the sneakers are just crazy. Like, yo, why would I pay this much? But here was his response to that.
Why the average consumer struggles with the thought process of somebody paying a higher dollar amount. You're basing that spend based off of what you got in your pocket. Yeah. Not understanding the body of work of that person that could justify that expense. And not everything is for everyone. So like you got to remove emotion from that. And I know that's going to go over some people's head, but to me it's ill that somebody could get to that point and say, yeah, I could justify that expense. Forget if I'm the guy that sold it or not. Like, I could justify that expense and I could have that and I could wear it into the ground or put it on the wall.
Like a painting.
Or
like a painting.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Man, that's crazy. I wish I could send you a screenshot of literally the message I sent to Rebel C at, let me just give you the exact timestamp, at 8:07. Right now it's 10:23. I literally told her, don't put limitations on other people's pockets. And this was before you sent me this clip. That was before you sent me this clip. And I literally said that because we were talking about putting the registry together. And she was like, man, there are some things that I want that are of a certain price point, but I don't want to put it because I don't want to be perceived as XYZ. And I was like, no. Definitely don't put or don't choose the lower tier of what you want because you don't want somebody else to pay that. You don't know what someone can afford or can't afford, and you don't know what they're willing to do for you. So don't make that move. So just super in line with this clip. And I agree. Look, I think there are certain things, concepts, and even services that you do have to create easier access for, right? When it comes to education, I believe that a large sum of education should be free. And in today's world, it is free. Between YouTube, Google, and all of the social media platforms, a lot of education, pretty much under every industry or topic, you can get what I would consider maybe even like a high school level understanding of a particular topic just scattered throughout the internet. Now, again, is it the most convenient way? No. But it's a flip side of it now, when you talk about something like that, a luxury item or something considered sacred in certain parts of the market, I totally agree with that concept, or I believe in it in a lot of ways, right? Like the exclusivity of it, because I think of myself even from a consumer standpoint, and I do enjoy taking part in experiences, even products or services that are unique. They're not common to an ordinary life or to the everyday experience. It's those things that you do maybe once in a lifetime or once in a blue moon. And yeah, with that, you have to charge. So I am for that. If that, I am for that. I am for that.
Whatever that is, I am.
Yeah,
Whatever you want to call
that
that, I'm
is,
that.
I am for that.
Now I'm gonna go into uh my sneaker bag for 3 seconds, and then I'll go with what I normally go with. Right. So uh first off, I think any product or service, I believe everything is art. Right. Point blank. Period. That's why I kind of related to this clip more for this podcast, not just from a sneakers standpoint, but literally, we, just like how Moose says, shouldn't put limitations just because we may not pay for that, or maybe the average person may not pay for that. But when it comes to the sneakers thing, it is literally art. It's different pieces of art. They're made different ways. There's different models. There's different colorways. There's different meanings and stories behind it. And if someone sees, okay, I would love to pay for that, no matter the cost. Okay, and in that interview, they talked about the Air Mags, which is the Back to the Future ones, the self lacing, right? And those can go for anything of 6 figures. If somebody wants to purchase that, because there's not many that is out there, what it can do and what it represents, because it represents that time frame, how future, what it's a lot. Yeah, people will pay for that when there's people who's paid more for less, right? We think about it as far as, we may not pay for this for that much, but if something else of our liking, of our priority, was that same price, you may find a way to pay for it. Some people find a way to pay for truly expensive cars that does the same thing of drive and play music. That's it, right? Now there's different things, different features, great, but that's considered art as well, because how somebody does the make of a model of a car is unique. The story behind it is unique. Think about any other product or service. It's done in a unique way. The packaging, whether from a digital side or for a physical side, is done in a unique way. The story, the mission, the purpose of it is created in a unique way, right? Who are we to judge how much somebody would pay for a particular item, whether digital or physical, right? If the person finds value into it. So as people who are trying to create different products and services, right? We should shoot for the stars sometimes when it comes to these prices, as long as the value is there, as long as the purpose is there, as long as the storyline is there, because somebody is going to find the true value in it. I'm really big on reading about gamification, and one of the core drives is ownership, right? So where uh, there is a limited amount for a certain amount of people, and they will pay a whole lot, and it may not mean a lot for some people. Like it could just be a coin, right? That normally doesn't have any type of value. But for this community, because it was limited, it's worth so much within that community. So when we're looking at the sneaker community, if we're in that community, it's worth this much. For those people who collect coins, it's worth this much for those people who collect coins. For those people who collect art figures, it's this much for the art community, right? Or even the hype beast of the people who are going in just to flip for that value point, right? There's a community for everything, and everything that we do, and there's a value and a price point that people have no problem paying. So what we have to do is to be able to create those strong communities that when we do drop something, that what we drop is of value and people will have no problems taking out their credit card regardless of the amount of money that we charge them, right? Now, if we wanted to do that kind of ownership principle to where we create limited amounts and our community is finding true value of it, yeah, we could do that too. I mean, we see it in games where they have certain collectibles and people trade for that or would pay for those particular items just to own it. And there is you don't even touch it. It's in a game. So I'm saying all that because I truly believe that we downplay our own prices because we believe that we have to meet people where they are. And just because I won't pay $100K for some sneakers, I won't even pay. I'll pay a lot, but probably nothing over 700. It's a little bit too much for me.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
I thought you were gonna say like 1,000.
Nah, it really depends. No, I don't think so. I really, yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying. This is the thing. Just because your pay grade may have went up, your spending money for sneakers should not go up either. That's how I feel about it. Like, I'm trying to live my like old days when I was starting really collecting, and 300 was like, golly. Now
Stretch.
it seems right, but now it seems like some of the regular smegular ones are 235 for my size. I'm 5.5
That's
in
crazy.
boys.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm like, what? Now, granted, shout out to those people who got the 11s. I got the 11s, right? But we're looking at my size, 184 or something. We're almost at 200 for that.
Yeah.
For those 11s. That's men's size prices. But I find value in it. I'm going to pay for it. Some people would be like, I'm not paying this much for sneakers. Absolutely. You wouldn't. I do. Clearly. You can see what I do. Right? But the 11s are like every single year, you want to get the 11s of the year because there's only one that comes out for the whole year, right? So that if once it sells out, then the resale goes up. So something that was I pay 184 now can go up to 300, 400, depending on who your reseller is and depending on the demand. If they don't do restock, if they don't do a lot of restocks, that value is going to go up. We could create the same thing and the same demand in our own brands and businesses with just the concept of understanding how others do it. I really pay attention to the Jordan brand because I consume it so much that it has to make sense for me to learn from it too. I'm big on that. Like, I will not consume and not produce from what I consume, no matter what it is. Not just content and media. It's like physical stuff too. What can I learn from going to a concert? What can I learn from buying merch? What can I learn from going to indoor skydiving? Like, what can I learn from all of this? So be a producer of the things that you consume, and your brands and businesses will probably go a lot further. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, somebody tweet that. Somebody tweet that real quick. Be a producer off of the things that you consume. That's good. That's good.
Just saying. Well, people, that's our episode. Okay. Do us a favor. What would you do? What do you do now? Not what would you do? Because now you heard and you're like, oh my God, I get it now. But before you heard this, where were you? Were you paying attention to people's pockets and pricing it based off people's pockets? Or were you understanding the value and going where and charging however much that you want to charge? Okay. Now, of course, we're going to have our after show. So you definitely want to go check that out. Apple Podcast comes out every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then follow us on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, all of them at Nicky and Moose. But Moose, final words.
Yeah. Man, really simple this week. Don't allow the world to make your heart go bitter. Change how you may respond, but keep your heart pure.